Yeah, I thought we could give that a try.
Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. It's actually Kathleen, so you can make her. Okay, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, September 20th. It is 10 a.m., 10:01 a.m., and this is the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners meeting. I will call this meeting to order. We have all three commissioners here, so we do have a full quorum today. First up is the adoption of our consent calendar. These are items of a routine nature, but either staff or commissioners can highlight an item or pull an item for further discussion. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss, highlight, or pull from the consent calendar?
Now, Madam Chair, I would make a motion for adoption of the consent calendar as presented.
Okay.
And I will second that motion.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
carries. All right, next up is decision action, staff report for approval of VOC American Rescue Plan Act allocations. This is a carryover from our last meeting where we had discussion, and now it's on decision action. I think this is Administrator Johnson's.
Sure.
Yeah.
Too shocking.
We buy a new one? I don't think so.
Good morning, everyone. So a follow-up to our last meeting. One of the things that we wanted to get prioritized were those tow bags. The Director of Health and Human Services is here. If you can reinforce this, we had a conversation yesterday. They need 180 bags just in that department. They have no bags. They have nothing to replace or update, so they need 180 bags. Your administrative executive admin is working the numbers, and she will hope to have an answer by the week's end of what the total amount will be as it pertains to that acquisition. And then we'll move forward and provide you a written memo of what that is, what it costs.
And Administrator Johnson, I think the discussion that came up last time under the during your packet, or under the public health category, emergency preparedness piece. There was some discussion last time on changing this to have that be focused on just this campus. You and I had talked, and I think the decision was not so much just this campus, but our employees in general, regardless of which building they happen to be from.
So what we're doing is going back and checking with all the departments on and off the campus and our buildings where people are located to make sure they have those go bags, which I think is really important to have. It certainly meets criteria set forth in the RPA.
So what is it we needed to change? Because we had already approved all of
Yeah,
the
we want to
requests.
make sure that I was provided the direction to get those numbers to you.
Got it.
And
Okay,
we go back and we check the minutes to make sure that that was right
okay,
to do. So we're still in that process, and I'll communicate that to you.
Okay.
And get that done this week as soon as your admin has got that data.
do we actually need to make a order though? I don't think we do, because everything in here we had already approved.
That's correct. You just, it was a function of you making sure that I had the accounting right on this.
Okay. So I think we're.
Which is
Yeah.
really important because we are now noticing that Treasury is out auditing. So they already started. And there was an amendment to ARPA recently, if you haven't seen that, so is changing some items to be elongated in the ARPA audit process. So we're keeping our eyes and ears wide open on all this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything else, Administrator Johnson, on this?
So all everything's moving forward just quickly. Staff is meeting with Samaritan here shortly on going over their requirements for being a subrecipient, a very large subrecipient, as you know, $500,000, and they are going to be utilizing that money for construction. So their county counsel's office is working at, we have a contract with them, and what their reporting requirements will be
And that's for the Coastal Stars program.
That's correct.
All right, anything else from other commissioners?
No.
And just an update, okay? All right, thank you, Administrator Johnson. So no decision or action needed on that, just discussion for now. Thanks. All right, next on discussion information, Lincoln County Homeless Advisory Board update on House Bill 41.3. You can stay where you're at, Administrator Johnson, to give us that update.
Let me pull that up. Thank you very much. I'll be very succinct on this. This is a strategy report because the timeline for completion of the strategy is nearing. And as such, you will hear from our consultants moving forward, but as a courtesy to you commissioners and also to all the cities, their mayors and elected officials, we're out providing them an update and so you know what's about to happen. So you're not just hit hold with what is this, what is going on. So just give you this quick overview of what has happened. Again, can't get too much into the weeds on this. We're just going to try to keep it at a very high level, but the accomplishments have been absolutely phenomenal since we embarked on this a little over a year ago. As you remember, because of the efforts that were led, you were selected as one of 8 communities to work the state program. Really kudos to everybody, Commissioner Baldwin. You went through a declaration of cooperation, pulling all of the cities, tribe, and community services organization together. We then went into an intergovernmental agreement with all of the cities, and again, community services organization. We had a selection of consultants, which was a tremendous undertaking. We did a national-wide RFP. We went through a significant review of achieving that. Next slide, please. We stood up an advisory board comprised of the cities, the tribe, and community services. We had 4 subcommittees that identified, and I think the most wonderful thing I've seen, and we just share this with you, having worked now 4 of these in Seattle, King County, Sacramento County, and it's 16 incorporated communities, San Diego County, and then the one of that was from the toughest I've ever been involved with was the Greater San Francisco Bay Area project. This has probably been the most unified program I've ever seen. I tip my hats to your leadership in making sure that everybody stays together on the tube. And regular meetings hosted countywide, which I think, again, you should be complimented about. You had over 200 participants. That does not include the people that are on city mayors and city councils and commissioners or people who serve on the housing board itself. You had a separate 200 plus participants to the separate. We formulated the website is connected to ours, and they use social media throughout to fill the requirements of hybrid meetings in direction of state law. Here is the one that just I just continue to just compliment everybody between House Bill 4123 and House Bill 1519. We have, as countywide, achieved nearly $2 million in technical assistance capacity building grants in less than a year. Real kudos to everybody on that. Again, we're working on a winter shelter. There will be a workshop, or if not, a set aside in a future commission meeting on the discussion of the Tri-County continuing care discussion in order to bring more money into our county. And within the context that, as required by the state contract that was signed as related in House Bill 4123, we fulfilled the requirement of submitting a draft report midterm as required to the Department of Administrative Services. That should be in your packet. If it isn't, I will make sure that it is provided to you. This is what it looks like. And I hope that you haven't received that. Have a vision mission. Okay, we have an elevator in this, 2 elevators in this building. So I wanted to see, based upon this vision and mission, if you could really give an elevator speech in a 3-story. So one day I was with the person in the elevator. We were going upstairs.
That's hard,
I said,
yeah.
we're gonna do this. And she sat there, let's do it. So she can attest to the fact that we can do an elevator speech utilizing it. So yeah. That's great. We always tell you to read the fine print. Within the fine print of our state contract, where are the goals that were identified. We had a couple of amendments on this. Mayor Cross added in the first one related to the operations of the housing advisory board to that sustainable and permanent in our efforts moving forward. And Mayor Kaplan at Newport identified another one below the line right now, so that you can identify the difference between those that were required by the state and then what we added, which was more lines of communication, coordination, and accountability between communities, which I we all most appreciate. Moving forward, there are some challenges and opportunities. What we learned is that there's 100 entities that are helping the homeless right now in the county. Let me explain. For this county, that would include, for Lincoln County as an organization, so it would include you, the Board of Commissioners. It would include HHS, Public Health, Mental Health, and all of their departments. They would be counted separately, Sheriff's Department, Community Corrections, so on and so forth, as we get into that. So when you say to yourself, wow, Tim, that's 100. Yeah, but you know, just for us, there's like 14 different organizations within entities within our county government that are providing, and that copies itself for every jurisdiction, every city too as well. So when you talk with a consultant and they're making the presentation, I ask that you have them enumerate that for you so you can see that list. Nonprofits and faith-based organizations act as primary providers. As you see, most of them are along the coast. Strategy to illustrate how to work together in the future will be focused on housing, homeless services, and economic prosperity. Next slide, please. One of the things that we're learning specifically on the housing component that you, but all of you have been intimately involved with is these 5 categories of emergency, transitional, affordable, and market rate. And this county has put millions of dollars and continues to put millions of dollars into this effort. And this will be a key question asked moving forward. But I think it's functionally an opportunity for the public and private sectors based on nonprofit, faith, and based organizations in corresponding partnerships. So it almost creates like a Venn diagram where you put all these folks together and they're all working on a variety of different elements associated with these 5 types of housing categories. Next slide. Within the context of this kind of gives you a quick overview of how the presentation of the draft strategy will be laid out, so it'll be easy for you to follow. One of the key components associated with this is the budget resources and the timeline for implementation of a navigation center. I would tell you, and I thank you for this, we are a very fiscally prudent organization, and I say that with a very serious level. And as we go through these breakout of these five, I am always turn to you for your leadership relative to that, because it's always easy for consultants to come up with numbers, but they need to be checked, and you need to cross-check those. And as such, this report's going to have your name on it, and I want to make sure that at the end of the day, it fulfills what your expectations are for its use going forward. Next, and we're working on the status reports to the city and counties, the county right now. The publication of the draft strategy will occur late October through November. The presentations will begin at that time with the cities. If you want to go first, you're more than welcome to. If you want to be the last ones to review this, you get all of the input from the cities and the services organization. You can do that too as well. We'll take your direction and leadership on what you want to do on that. we have found out something that is of interest. We appreciate the leading authority in cities helping take the leadership role in this. The contract says that we must have our finished report to the state of Oregon Housing and Community Services to them by November 15th. But this is a pilot project, and as such, we need to make sure that you have your thoughtful review on this, that you feel comfortable about what has been presented and where you're going. And as such, we have asked the state for the following, and they have agreed to it, that we will submit an administrative final draft, administrative final draft. With the transmission letter that will come from the chair that will write, that will say with the caveat that this will be, you will receive the final report or strategy upon the completion of the resolutions by each one of the cities and the community services council. And when we get that completed, which we're hoping will be the end of the year, if not shortly into the first of the new year, we will submit that. They are fine with that, because they understand the progress that has been made and continues to be made. And it shouldn't be rushed, because this is a very important document for all of the county and for organizations that are part of the IDA. Next slide, please. Under implementation, so then we're going to go through further thoughtful review and examination. Know that you get busy in November and December. It's difficult for everybody to spend the necessary time. So we want further time for you after the first of the year, spend further thoughtful review on your behalf, taking a look at it, making sure that everything is where you want it to do. And subsequent discussion implementation of a work plan as we move forward, looking again at that navigation center, because there is they use price metrics. If you know what I mean, there's a low, there's a low high, there's a high, there's a low high. You know what I'm talking about. And they give you an opportunity to, how do I say this? It's almost like a cafeteria benefit plan where you get to pick and choose pieces and parts of it. And I think that's again where that thoughtful review on your part is required. So that will be happening early on in the first part of 24, and working through a work plan that gets us to the end of the what we would call the fiscal year of this grant into June 2024. Then we move into what will be phase 3, which is the actual implementation of the value-added proposition efforts, and those will be following the programs associated with homeless services, housing, economics, transportation. Again, I want to say this is a tremendous amount of work, and this is this commission has heard me use this term before, but man, oh man, this is elegant. I mean, the amount of work that you get. I use the term elegant, you probably don't hear it in business school terminology, but it is predicated upon not only the quantity or quality of the work that has been completed, the style in which it has been done. And when you think about creating the Declaration of Operation, the IGA, the amount of people that you've allowed to participate in, it is a tremendous undertaking. And I'm not blowing any smoke up your gas tanks. You took the leadership role on this. You got it all done. You got it moved forward and progressing. So compliments to you on everything that you've done so far today. And the lift now comes here. I guess you could say we use terminology for football right now. We're in the fourth quarter, and we have the ball. We're heading towards the end. So any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
not questions, but I'd just like to maybe add a few observations to Administrator Johnson's presentation. It's really been an honor for me to be chair of the advisory committee that has been working through this project, and I want to call out in a positive way everybody who's been part of the committee, but especially Toledo Mayor Rod Cross, who has served as my vice chair. And I know there's always skepticism that accompanies the completion of a plan like this, that is it just going to gather dust on a shelf? And nobody's got a perfect crystal ball, but I really believe with the level of engagement, the level of data we've gathered, the momentum we've built up, that this plan is going to be the catalyst for a lot of good things.
Thanks. Commissioner Miller, anyone else?
No, I don't think so. Looking forward to seeing what that implementation might look like, and I know the two of you worked a lot and appreciate that. And it seems thorough, right, compared to past iterations. So hopefully it'll really, turn into something meaningful.
It's very action oriented, and to that point, Chair Jacobson, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce to you. I have Jane Romero, our aging fifth director, introduce to you our new homeless coordinator that you worked so hard on. Going forward. And Jane, if you will introduce, much obliged.
Sure, and while you two are getting settled, I was just going to finish my thoughts on the report, which is, first of all, a big thanks to Tim and Claire, because while it was a collaborative, group effort with cities, the county did kind of take the load on that fiscally and managerially. So thank you for that. And also thanks to Commissioner Hall, because you helped us originally get designated as an HB 4123 kind of community. So thank you for that. I'm really excited about the plan. The planning part to me, not so much something I love, but I love the implementation of plans. So I'm very excited to get that plan and start working on the implementation pieces. So thanks everybody who worked on that. Yeah.
Good morning.
Okay.
For the record, Jane Romero, Health and Human Services Director. And it is my extreme pleasure to introduce Chantel Estes, who is our new winter shelter coordinator. This is her third day on site and 8th day overall being employed with the county. Most of our staff really have an opportunity to kind of ease in to a job, not Chantel. I have told her this will be the fastest hit the ground running job ever. And she has not disappointed. So I don't know if you would like to hear anything background.
Please.
Yes. Sure. So thank you for inviting me here to introduce myself, and for the process that you guys have gone through to get to this point is amazing. So yes, it's a race to the home base, but you guys have done so much more work. And so my background is in criminal justice and mental health, as well as legal and real estate. And I work for the last couple of years in housing as well. So I have a pretty good lengthy background in what it takes to go from the streets to permanent housing. And that's why I'm very excited about this opportunity to really have opportunities for people from the first level, and that's the streets. And so thank you very much.
Thank you. I was going to wait until commissioner reports. Since you're both standing here, I'm just going to do it now because I'm the chair and I can do what I want. So just a couple of updates on the winter shelter. Our original goal was October 1, but it is 9/20, so that's just around the corner. So we're really glad you were able to start with us, Chantel. But we are on target to open our Newport winter shelter starting October 1. We will be initially rotating between 3 locations and starting at St. Stephen's Episcopal and Newport. It's been difficult identifying space in Lincoln City, and so we pushed back that opening to potentially November 1. We do think we have some potential space ideas. We're still exploring with the city and giving commitments hopefully from them, but as of yesterday, I think things are looking better in Lincoln City in terms of having a space, but like I said, still coming together. Funding wise, as you do recall, we put the funding for our shelter manager on general funds. We also Actually, earlier today, we actually had that ARPA chart out. We actually did give some ARPA funds as well, but yesterday I got an email that our IHN-CCO funding coming through, which I think was around $100,000.
150,000.
150, okay.
Oh, wow.
And we also so far have got commitments from certain cities. We sent a letter out here a couple of weeks ago asking for roughly $4.50 per population in that city. We have received commitments from Depot Bay. I believe Newport voted last night, the night before.
Monday night.
Monday, okay, Monday. So the commitment from them. Yahat's was also yes. Let's at a slightly discount rate. I believe Lincoln City are having those discussions soon. So we do have some external funding coming in as well. I also just wanted to say that we're definitely going to need volunteers at both site locations. I think now that we have our shelter manager here, we're working on kind of setting up that process. But if people are interested in doing that, please reach out to any of us. And my guess is here pretty soon in the next few weeks, we'll probably press release and kind of a succinct process on how people can become a volunteer. I plan on volunteering, so I'm hoping that my fellow commissioners will join me.
I already put my name.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I did as well. So a little peer pressure for Commissioner Miller here. So anyways, I'm hoping you'll join me in doing that. And just a big thank you to Jane and Karen Rockwell and others that have been involved in this. It was a big push, I think, with a very difficult timeline, but I'm glad that, you know, we're going to make it important. We'll be slightly behind, but still on schedule-ish in Lincoln City. So just an update on that. Anything else either of you wanted to say?
No, I think you did a lovely job of covering all the bases.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any
Thanks.
questions? Yeah.
Yes.
So just an online maybe process for volunteering, right?
I think the process for external volunteers, like community members, is coming.
Okay,
And if I may add, we're going to use the logistics platform that we use for our COVID volunteers, and Susan Traxel and Jenny Damaris are working on setting that up even now. We have a name. Let me just also add, we do have a name for the shelter. Yeah.
oh, yeah,
So it is Community Shelter and Resource Center. So we would have the Newport site and the Lincoln City site.
okay,
And we have a cool logo coming online too.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exciting.
information.
Appreciate it.
Okay, moving back to discussion and information, donation of 140 North Yoda Lane, Otis to Habitat for Humanity, Lincoln County. This was not, we didn't do this on purpose, but I kind of love that we have the Lincoln County Homeless Advisory Board update. And then right after that, we're donating a piece of property to Habitat. That's just kind of shows, I think, what we're doing as a county to work on this. So, Miss Ewell County Council.
Thank you, commissioners. So this is another property donation to Habitat. If you recall, we did receive monies from the Oregon Housing Community Services Grant for wildfire victims from the 2020 Echo Mountain Fire. This was a property that was destroyed by the fire. The manufactured home was completely destroyed. The state had a cleanup program, so the property has been cleaned up. And now we'd like to donate the property to Habitat so they can develop the property for low income housing. So under statute, you are authorized under ORS 271-330 to donate a property for a qualified nonprofit to develop for low income housing. And so we would be donating under that statute. So I have a draft deed and I have a draft agreement with Habitat, which you've seen both of these before. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm just excited to finally get this done. I've been looking at that lot for quite a while. Every time I go up to Otis, so I'm glad we're at this point.
Thanks.
Okay.
Awesome.
So,
So we'll bring it back next time for approval.
yeah, bring it back next time.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ms. Yule. All right, moving on to reports. I already did mine. Commissioner Miller, anything to share?
Nothing for me.
Okay, Commissioner Hall.
Nothing additional from me.
Okay, moving on to public comment. First, we'll look at any written public comment that we received. No written public comment. Okay, do we have anyone online that wants to do live public comment online? Raise your virtual hand if you do. Looks like it's mostly just staff. Okay, do we have any in-person public comments? Great, come on up. Good morning.
Good.
3 minutes for public comment, and if you could start stating your name.
And I've been in 7 years and they have
Hang on, we'll pause, we'll let you restart here. Thanks.
Might have been the one.
Restart.
okay, so I'm living a long time resident for 47 years and have been so 37 years and then doing construction contracts. And I have property in the valley for timber and cattle. And so this spring thing, brought to my attention. And Kathy, I think did your grandfather was he the very old skipper?
No,
They were named them, I was thinking he had block history, but anyway, the timber industry, I don't know, all you know this, but I mean. They brought jetties in, they brought the dredging in, I mean, we all, Newport was the second county of electricity. Which, brought in fish, helping the fish and done his crabs, and everyone see, well, all because of the timber industry. So we will a lot to it, but it all comes back down to the herbicide and distorting the timber industry again. So I use on my property, ensure that the fill out question that was you bring it up there, you use on-site or crossbow. And there's no health problems with these here at all. I've been using stuff for over 30 years, and you can graze cattle on it, and it doesn't harm them. Molecular structure is designed to attack mammals. It's not designed to, attack mammals. So we dilute it when we use it 100 times, and so it's already diluted quite a bit. So anyway, getting back to we've been down this road before, I was feeding myself and everything, but anyway, basically there's no health problems at all with it. And there's no proven health problems. I mean, if there was, all these people that are protesting would do it. I mean, they come out and start saying that Agent Orange, they're spraying cancer, and it's just unfortunately just all lies. So the problem I have is I don't know why the county commission and other agencies are putting pressure on the landowner to do other things. When they spray this with helicopters and stuff, they don't go spraying over the water. They go spray early in the morning and spray when there's no wind. It's they want to use the best application, etc. So anyways, but the part that gets me is that Dillinger, I don't get his name right now, but he's head of seal water district, and he uses chlorine in his water. He doesn't come up to tell you this, but people that drink chlorinated water are 93% at higher risk than people that don't drink chlorine. That's U.S. Council of Environmental Quality. And according to the Environmental Protection Agency, now Americans consume 300 to 600 times the amount of chlorine that is safe to ingest. So he's not directly poisoning people, but he's not doing them the best justice. I mean, and we, so how many people, how many of you guys live in city water?
City water.
City water, but in public water. So 3 of you. So 3 of you have been drinking and stuff, and I haven't seen, and I'm not trying to get you to complain about this, but why have you guys and other people running out there and saying, oh no, this is bad stuff, we gotta stop this, So anyway, I mean, with no background history, we're making this landowner spend $15,000 to $20,000 more cost to do it, and it's gonna be a poor application. I have used helicopters in my property. I do most of it. I have a sprayer that I can walk around and spray my hand with a 100-gallon tank.
I think we're out of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
but anyway, so I guess what I'm saying is, why are we do this? But here, one last story. I mean, with this, with the one thing, but there was one of my friends over in East County was spraying one time, and with a helicopter, and there's 5 people that came up to him. And there were 2 of them were limping and dragging a foot. The other one had a robe around with shiver and saying, "Oh, the chemicals, I can feel my body." And it was like they were applying for some acting drop. Anyways, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not talking about the chemicals that you're spraying fertilizer. And once you get it through to them, it's spraying fertilizer. They go, oh, and they turn around and they all walk away home. And who's dragging away and everybody's limping, and they folded up the robe and walked off like, yeah, it's over. So I think the county should be reimbursed the landowner the extra costs to do it, and I don't think in the future there should be, harassing them. I mean, considering what the tim industry has done, put Oregon on the map. I mean, without the dredging, without the jetties, the river and everything else, I mean, it does electricity, everything, it does so much for this county, infrastructure, schools, hospitals. They pay the highest timber tax, road tax, they put the highest employment in Lincoln County. I think it was the #2 producer for timber in the state. #1 crab deal. So anyway, that's my complaint is that we're beating an unfortunate person for no reason at all.
Thank you for your comment. All right, any other public comment? Nope, don't see anybody. All right. So before we, sorry, we have to actually go into executive session. I almost forgot. So are we coming back into regular session afterwards? Okay, we are likely coming back into regular session, so we're gonna adjourn into executive session, which is ORS 192.660 for an E regarding real property transactions. We need to clear the room. And then we will likely come back into regular session.
How do we handle this within the